Good morning, friends. It is class 12th. A Flamingo, chapter 1st, the last lesson. It is, it is very important and very interesting chapter of this book, first chapter, the last lesson, written by Alphonse Donnet. I started for, let's begin the chapter. I started for school very late that morning and was in great dread of my scolding, especially because M. Hamel and said that he would question us on participles, and I did not know the first word about them. For a moment I thought for running away and spending the day out of doors. It was so warm, so bright. The birds were creeping at the edge of the woods, and in the open field back of the sawmill, the Persian soldiers were drilling. It was all much more tempting than the rule for participles, but I had the strength to resist and hurried off to school. When I passed the town hall, there was a crowd in front of bulletin board. For the last 2 years all over bad news and came from there, the lost battles, the draft, the orders of the commanding officer, and I thought to myself without stopping, but what can be the matter now? Then, as I hurried by as fast as I could go to the blacksmith watcher, so who was there in the apprentice reading the bulletin called after me, "Do not go so fast, Bub. You will get to your school in plenty of time." I thought he was making fun of me, and reached M. Hamel little garden all out of breath. Usually, when school begins, there was a great bustle which could be heard out in the street. The opening and closing of desks, lesson repeated in unison, very loud, with our hands over our ears and understand better, and the teachers greet ruler is rapping on the table. But now it was all so still. I had counted on the commotions to get to my desk without being seen, but of course that day everything had to be as quiet as Sunday morning. Though the window, I saw my classmates already in their peace, and M. Hamel walking up and down with his trivial iron ruler under the arm. I had to open the door and go in before everybody. You can imagine how I blushed and how frightened I was but nothing happened. Mr. Hamel saw me and said very kindly, "Go to your place quickly, little French. We were being without you. We were beginning without you." I jumped over the bench and sat down at my desk. Not till then, when I had not a little over my fright, but I see that our teachers had on the beautiful green coat he frilled shirt and the little black skull cap, all embroidered, that he never wore except on the inspection and prize days. Beside, the whole school seemed so strange and solemn. But the morning that surprised me most was to see on the back benches that were always empty the villagers' pupils sitting quietly like oversleeps old Hauser with his they are concerned that the former mayor, the former postmaster, and several other besides everybody looked sad, and Hauser had brought an old premier thumbed at the edges, and he held it open on his knees, and his great spectacles lying across the page. While I was wondering about it all, Mr. Hamel mounted his chair and, in the same, gave a gentle tone with which he had used to me, said, "My children, this is the last lesson. This is the last lesson I shall give you. The order has came from the Berlin to teach only German in the schools of Alaska and Lorraine. The new master comes tomorrow. Tomorrow, this is the last French lesson. I would you to every attentive. What the thunderclap these words were to me. Oh, the virtues! That was the that was what they had put up to the town hall. My last French lesson. Why I here hardly knew how to write. How I should never learn any more. I must stop there then. Oh, how sorry I was for not learning my lesson, for seeking bird eggs or going sliding on the Sar, my books that had seemed much as nonsense a while ago, so heavy to carry. My grammar and my history of the saints were old friends now that I could give up. And Mr. Hamel too, the idea that he was going away, that I should never see him again, made him forget all about the ruler and how cranky he was. Poor man, it was in humor, in honor of his last lesson, that he had to put on his fine Sunday clothes, and now I understood why the old men of the villages were sitting there in the back of the room. It was because they were sorry too that they had not gone to the school more. It was their way of thanking our master for the 40 years of faithful service and showing their respect to the country that was there no more. While I was thinking of all this, I heard my name called. It was my turn to recite. What would I not have given to be able to say that dear full rule for the participle of thought, every loud and clear and without one mistake, but I got mixed up on the first word and stood there holding on my desk, my heart beatings, and not daring to look up. I heard Mr. Hamel say to me, "I wouldn't scold you, little friends. You must feel bad enough. See how it is. Every day learn it tomorrow. Every day we have set the ourselves back. I have plenty of times. I will learn it tomorrow, and now you see where we have came out. Ah, that's the great trouble with Alaska. Alas, she puts off the learning till tomorrow. Now those fellows out there will have the right to say you. How is it? You pretend to be a Frenchman, and yet you can neither speak or nor write your own language. But you are not the worst, poor little French, where we have all to a great deal to reproach ourselves with. Your parents were not too anxious enough to have you learn. They preferred to put you to work on a farm or at the mills so as to have a little more money, and I have been to blame also. I have not often sent you to water my flowers instead of learning your lesson, and when I wanted to fishing, I not just give you a holiday. Then from once thinking to another, Mr. Hamel went to talk of the French language, saying that it was the most beautiful language in the world, the clearest, the most logical, that we must guard it among us and never forget it, because when the people are enslaved, as long as they hold fast to their language, it is as if they had the key to their prison. They Then he opened a grammar and read us our lesson. I was amazed to see how well I understood it. All he said seemed so easy. I think too that I had never listened so carefully and that he had never explained everything with so much patience. It seemed more almost for as if the poor man wanted to give us all he knew before going away and to put it all into heads heads at on stroke. After the grammar we had lesson in writing that day. Mr. Hamel had new copies for us, written in a beautiful round hand. France Alaska. They looked like little flags floating everywhere in the schoolroom, hung from the road at the top of our desk. You you have to see everyone to set to work and work quite it was. They also sound was scratching of the pens over the paper. One same beetles flew in, but nobody paid any attention to them. Even the lightest one who worked right on the tracing their fish hooks as if that the French too. On the roof the pigeons coved very low and thought to myself when they make them sing in German, even the pigeons. However, I looked up from writing. I saw Mr. Hamel sitting motionless in his chair and gazing first at one thing then the another as he wanted to fix in his mind just how everything in looked in that little schoolroom. Fancy for 40 years he had been there in the same place with his garden outside the outside window and his class in front of him. Just like that, only the desk and benches had been worn smooth. The wall trees in the garden were taller, and the vine and that he had planted himself twined about the windows or to the roof. How it was must broken to leave it all, poor man, to hear his sister moving about in the room, ever packing his trunks, for they must leave the country next day. But he had to courage to hear every lesson to the very last. After the writing we had been a lesson in history, and then babies chanted the baby bo bee boo down there at the back at the room. Old Hauser had put on his spectacles and holding his premier in both hands spelled the letter them with them. He could see that he too was crying. His voice trembled with emotions, and it was a funny so hear him that we all wanted to laugh and cry. Ah, how I will how I remember it. The last lesson. All all at once the chunk clock struck 12. Then the Anguillus. At the same moment, the trumpets of the Persian returning from drill sounded under our windows. Mr. Hamel stood up very pale in his chair. I never saw him look too so tall. My friend said, but something choked him. He could not go on. Then he turned to the blackboard, took a piece of chalk, and bearing on with all his might, he wrote as large as he could while our friends. Then he stopped and leaned his head against the wall, and without words he made a gesture to us with his hand. School is dismissed. You may go. So, my dear friends, it is the story told by me. It is not so good enough to pronunciate because of my poor mic and with my poor reading skills. But friends, I am going to translate in Hindi as short as much I can. Thanks to listen it in English, and now I am going to pronunciate in Hindi as fast as better as I can. तो फ्रेंड्स, ये स्टोरी फ्लेमिंगो बुक क्लास 12th की पहले चैप्टर की है, द लास्ट लेसन। फ्रेंड्स, ये चैप्टर जो है द लास्ट लेसन, ये बेसिकली उस टाइम का है जब फ्रांस में मतलब तख्ता पलट हुआ फ्रांस में। ये तब की स्टोरी है। इसमें एक बच्चा होता है जो स्कूल जाने से डर रहा होता है, क्योंकि उसे पार्टिसिपल्स पढ़ाए जाने वाले होते हैं, उनसे क्वेश्चन पूछे जाने वाले होते हैं मतलब क्लास में। तो वो बहुत डर रहा होता है। उसके एक टीचर होते हैं मिस्टर हैमेल, जो वैसे तो उसे पढ़ाया नहीं करते, मतलब जैसे पढ़ाते हैं बहुत कम पढ़ाते हैं, जैसे कि अक्सर टीचर्स होते हैं एक बिजी रोडेड टाइप वाले, वैसे ही वो कभी उससे मतलब अपने गार्डन में पानी डलवाया करते थे, अपने आप फिशिंग पे चले जाते थे तो पूरी क्लास को छुट्टी दे दिया करते थे। तो वो अपने जब मतलब ये उसका मेन पार्ट है ऑफ द स्टोरी। बट अब जब वो बच्चा जा रहा होता है अपने स्कूल की ओर, तो वो एक बड़े से होर्डिंग न्यूज़ बोर्ड होता ना बड़ा सा, तो उस पर न्यूज़ चल रही होती है, सब लोग इधर मतलब झुंड लगा के खड़े होते हैं, तो गॉसिपिंग्स हो रही होती हैं, तो वो भागते हुए जाता है अपने स्कूल की तरफ। ये सब वो नोटिस कर रहा होता है। तो एक आदमी उससे कहता है, बेटा धीरे धीरे जाओ, भाग के मत जाओ, आप अपने स्कूल पहुंच जाओगे। उसे ये लगता है कि वो उसका मजाक बना रहे हैं। फिर वो अपने स्कूल जाता है, क्योंकि वो लेट हो गया होता है वैसे ही। तो वो अपने स्कूल जाता है, तो वहाँ पे अपने क्लासरूम में एंटर जैसे ही करता है, उसे लगता है कि अब उसको डांट पड़ने वाली है उसके टीचर मिस्टर हैमल से। तो हैमल जो होते हैं उससे बहुत ही प्यार से कहते हैं, आप अपनी सीट पे बैठ जाओ, हम तो तुम्हारे बिना ही ये क्लास स्टार्ट करने वाले थे। ठीक है, तो फिर वो खुशी से जाके बैठ जाता है, और उसने इतना पोलाइट कभी भी मिस्टर हैमल को नहीं देखा होता है। फिर उसके बाद मिस्टर हैमल अपने स्पेटिकल्स को फोल्ड करके टेबल पे रख देते हैं और बताते हैं कि इट इज़ द लास्ट डे ऑफ द फ्रेंच स्पीकिंग फ्रेंच क्लास, और कल से आपको सबको जर्मन पढ़ाई जाएगी। तो यही कहते हैं कि कल से आपको जर्मन पढ़ाई जाएगी, और ये लास्ट क्लास है फ्रेंच की। फिर उसके बाद और वहाँ पे वो नोटिस करता है कि जो पीछे की उसकी बेंचेस खाली रहती थी वहाँ पे आज गांव के ओल्ड जो मतलब रिटायर्ड पोस्टमैन हैं वो बैठे हुए हैं, और गांव के और भी लोग बैठे हुए हैं, विलेजर्स। तो फिर ये सब बताते तो उसको थोड़ी खुशी भी होती है और निराशा भी ये होती है कि अब उसको मिस्टर हैमल देखने को और नहीं मिलेंगे, अब वो फ्रेंच नहीं पढ़ पाएगा, यही सब। तो उसके जो टीचर होते हैं ना मिस्टर हैमल, वो ये कहते हैं कि फ्रेंच लैंग्वेज वॉज सो ईजी, सो ब्यूटीफुल, सो अमेजिंग टू अंडरस्टैंड। तो यही सब उसकी बड़ाइयाँ करते हैं और अपने आप को बताते हैं कि मैंने कभी तुम्हें पढ़ने नहीं, मतलब मैं तुम्हें कभी सही से पढ़ा नहीं पाया, ये सब बातें बताते हैं। उसके बाद में वो कैरी ऑन क्लासेस करते हैं, और फिर उसके बाद में घड़ी में 12 बजते ही वहाँ पे एक विसल साउंड सुनाई पड़ती है, जिससे पता चलता है कि जर्मन सोल्जर्स आ रहे हैं। और वो एक चौक उठाकर बोर्ड पर ये लिख देते हैं कि इट फ्रेंच इज़ अ वेरी गुड लैंग्वेज एंड वी लव फ्रेंच। और फिर बस वो एक इशारा करते हैं, द क्लास इज़ ओवर, यू मे गो नाउ। बस यही इस स्टोरी में है। बेसिकली कुछ नहीं है, 2 या 3 नंबर के क्वेश्चन इससे पूछ लिए जाते हैं, बस इससे ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं है। ठीक है फ्रेंड्स, आई होप यू विल अंडरस्टैंड। थैंक यू।